Welcome to Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventures in Dirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Welcome, Relics Radio. DK here with Adventures in Dirt. I want to welcome everyone tonight to Relics Radio Wednesday night here in Northern Colorado. We got snow. I can't believe it. I can't wait to talk to my buddy about it. Let me make sure I bring him in here. Here we go.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man. Are you freezing? My gosh, we got about an inch of snow. It was crazy.
An inch? You got an inch?
We got about 6. Yeah. Got about 6.
Yeah. Those chickens were not happy when they woke up this morning. I tell you something. They were not happy, but but it's typical Colorado, right? You get this heavy wet snow right before Mother's Day, where it's going to break limbs off of trees. It's super, super heavy. And then by about 1 or 2 o'clock, the sun comes out, starts melting everything. We're going to have all this water everywhere. Yeah. And by probably, Friday, it's going to be dry again.
Yep. Yeah. So, lost a few limbs and some trees.
I think we got probably maybe 8 or 9 inches down here. It was pretty hot and heavy for sure.
Did you lose any trees at all?
No, I was out there trying to shake them. Yeah, I had the dog. This is funny. Real quick funny story, because I know we need to get to our guest this week. Called my dog. We're in the backyard. I called my dog over, and she's standing next to me. And I shook the tree, and just all of the snow came down on top. So she's running around. I mean, she's this white dog, and she's running around like their head cut off and just loving the snow and all that. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but we had a good time. We didn't lose any branches or anything, but yeah.
I did the same thing, except I didn't have any dog for it to fall, and it actually fell all over me.
Oh well,
I'm out there in a hoodie, and I got just snow covered all over
right.
me. Yeah, save the trees. Save the trees. How you been, man?
Good, real good. Geez, we've been talking kind of offline away from Relics Radio, and we got to get out detecting. We got some new permissions and things, and we're waiting on your need to get 100%. What's the status of that real quick?
What are you doing this weekend?
Mother's Day.
Darn it.
I know. Next weekend.
Next week. That's what we're doing.
We're going to give you another week.
I went to the Rockies game this last Sunday, so I did the whole up and down all the stairs. I only had one escalator. All the rest was all stairs at the Coors Field out there. A tiny little, stadium seating where you have to have your bend your knee at about 130 degrees. So that, that was challenging, but I did it and made it through the whole day. Walked, to and from the parking way out in the middle of nowhere. And so things are going good. I'm ready. I'm ready to go for sure.
Good. Love to hear it.
Yep.
Let's jump in the chat real quick. Why don't you start
on front? I'll start at the back. How's that?
There's a lot of people here already.
There is.
Aiden the historian. Look at that. We get to call out Aiden first this week.
What's up, Aiden? I got the history digger over here. What's up, Rob?
Yep. We got Arkansas Relics says hello.
Sweet. Bells in the house. How you doing, Bells?
Yeah. Copper Joe. Always
hello,
in the house.
Copper Joe.
Joe's always with us.
Jeep Girl. Good to see you, Jeep Girl. Saw her on TikTok the other night.
Did you?
Yeah, there's a few of them. They were talking about you, man. They were mentioning your name. They're all FLX and Jeep Girl, and they were all going live over there. And they were all talking about you. They were saying some things. I wrote some notes. I'm going to talk to you about it off the air. But yeah,
okay.
Stuff.
Yeah, ironically, you mentioned it. I needed to bring this up, but Bree reached out to me. We had Bree on a couple weeks ago, gave away a Legend 2 metal detector, by the way, if you guys remember that. But Bree reached out and she says, hey, would you want to be on a live on TikTok? And I'm like, I'm not really, I'm on the talk, but I don't know if I'm much of a ticker or a talker or whatever, but sure, let's go on and talk about what what I'm passionate about. But next Tuesday over on Behind the Fines.
That's who it was.
Yep.
Sweet.
Be over there on TikTok live.
Yep.
I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern. So join us over on TikTok there behind the Fines. And maybe I'll let you in on some personal information. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Probably metal detecting or something. I don't know. Probably. But it should be good. Be good.
Sweet. Brass Medic. How you doing there, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yep. Keep going. I'm pulling up something real quick. You keep going on.
Mr. Bucket Lister. Oh, the yodeler is here. He must be talking about Bree. course, Bree comes in. It's like yodelee. That's our new entrance line. We got Full Metal Digger. What's up, Dave? Good to see you. Teresa, the treasure hunter, always in the house and always welcome. Welcome. Yeah, we got a full show tonight. So here's some announcements. Everyone sit down, strap in, hold on.
Get your pen and pencil ready to take notes.
Pencil, paper, because I'm telling you what, you're going to be so happy you're here tonight. We're going to introduce you to something that's just take over the metal detecting community. And I'm glad you're here to kind of jumpstart it with us. Tony, when's the first time you heard of Subterrix?
You know what? It's probably been at least a month, 6 weeks. Saw it on social media. Was talking with Ryan kind of beforehand and stuff, and but really didn't get into it until the last week or two.
Yeah.
And how my mind is just blown.
Yeah. So yeah, same with me. I saw it here and there. I think Ryan had reached out to me too. I don't even know if I got back to him yet, but I had been seeing it around, and I was just like, oh, okay, it's for research, for this and that, and I just never dove into it. You know what I mean? Like, I got all these other sticks in the fire type of thing, and you and I both started really talking about it, and we both took some time to dig into it. So for those of you in the chat, if you've had a chance to look around, poke around on it, play with it a little bit, kind of see what's about, good. You're going to really get a chance to see the nuts and bolts of it tonight, and probably whet your appetite even more. For those of you who haven't seen it, get ready. It's going to amaze you, I'm sure. There's a lot to it. So what we want to tell you is to get your questions ready.
Yep.
And type them in as you have them. Tony and I will look for them. We'll put little stars next to them. In this program we use, it puts it in a different section of the program we use. And then when our guests take a break or we see a good stopping point, we'll try to ask some of those questions and get your answers. Get your questions answered. But I encourage you, please do. Along with your side conversations you all have, I'm sure if you got any questions, just throw them right in. Okay.
Yep. Tonight's all about information. We're going to get out as much information as we can. You can kind of hear the exigency in our voices. We're trying to get through this introduction and get over to the guests because there's a lot to go through and a lot of positive, fantastic information to get out there.
Yeah, Tony and I kind of we talked to Ryan and Merril and kind of talked to them and took a look at the program a little in depth with them, just to see what it really was all about and stuff, to get really familiar. And we were so blown away by it. We're like, well, you want to come on this Wednesday?
Yeah, you available in a couple days?
How about can you? Yeah, what's your time look like and stuff? So, yeah, we're pretty excited about it to bring it to you, to the community, and that's kind of what Relics Radio has always been about, is bringing new innovation, new tools, new machines, new ideas, new techniques to the community, so we can all share on it and enjoy this thing we call metal detecting and treasure hunting. So, awesome, man.
And we need to mention, you guys, if you're here right now, you're going to want to stick around until near the end of the show, because we've got a pretty big surprise for you guys if you're still with us. So please, give us some time. It's going to be worth your time, worth your while, and stick around until the end, because you won't be sad. I'll just say that. How's that?
Yeah, make sure you stick around. All right, let's go.
And then real quick, before we start that, I want to mention this real quick. You guys being supporters of Relics Radio, you can get 10% off all Republic displays over at republicdisplays.com. Use the code RelicsRadio10 at checkout, and you'll get 10% off all of the displays over there. So go check it out, and remember to use Relics Radio 10 for 10% off.
That's right. Well, let's get to it, because we asked him how much time you think we probably need for all this stuff, and we needed about 3.5 hours. So
yeah,
we're going to try and get through it a little sooner than that. Probably won't take the 3.5 hours, but let's just get to it. Let's bring our guests on.
All right.
What's up, fellas?
Hello. How are you?
Doing good. Ryan, Merril, thanks for joining us, giving us your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Hey, Merril, how are you?
I'm doing okay. It's good to be back. You guys are going to see videos again from me very, very shortly. We've got some exciting news tonight, and we're certainly going to go over that. But yeah.
Looking forward to it. Ryan, so whereabouts in the country are you both? Are you both East Coast kind of area, or?
Yep, we're both New York. Merril's Long Island. We're both from islands. Merril's Long Island. I'm Staten Island, and there's some incredible digging in this area. So we're incredibly lucky to have, the French, the British, and the United, the American armies all fought for this particular area. So it's loaded with great stuff.
Yeah, I'd say
Wow.
so.
Must suck, huh?
And we're coming to visit on August what? No,
I was
Someday.
texting with Tony earlier. You guys are more than welcome to come by, and we'll take you to all the great spots.
Yeah.
Love it. I figured you guys were like neighbors, just knock on each other's door right next to each other. And
I wish. If I was Merril's neighbor, I wouldn't leave his house.
Exactly.
In New York, the idea of neighbors, with the traffic, it takes a while to get to your neighbors.
25 miles, 2.5 hours.
Right. Yeah.
Something like
brutal.
that.
True. Yes.
Someday we'll get out and see you. But look, let's kick this right off. We talked before the show. Why don't we start here? Why don't we say, okay, Ryan, Subterrix, how did you come up with the idea? Where did that come from out of your mind? And how did you get Merril involved in this?
Yeah.
And I'll let you both just take it from there. And then we'll start getting into some of these features, especially if people haven't seen it before.
Sure. So I became an addict of detecting about 4 years ago. I had a detector as a kid. I loved it until I realized how much I like girls more. It ended up going in my toy closet, never surfaced again. And then virtually every decade since then, I always thought to myself, it'd be great to try or pick up metal detecting again. I'm 46 now, around my 42nd birthday, I ended up buying an Equinox 900, and I just randomly went to a local park and started digging, and I fell in love with it all over again. At the end of the day, after falling in love with it, I found myself incredibly frustrated and developing Subterrix, quite frankly, out of necessity. Part of that necessity is based on the fact that as advanced as the detectors have gotten over the last 10 or 15 years, the rest of the detecting community had been stuck in the Stone Ages. And I literally mean that. So in advance of going out to detect, like everyone else that's a novice, going out and, Google searching, trying to find everything from working links to broken links to Facebook posts to Reddit posts. Half of them didn't work. Half of them weren't accurate. And then going out and detecting for a couple hours. And then if I found something, spending the next hour and a half trying to figure out what the hell is it that I just pulled out of the ground? Where did it come from? And how do I get more information on it? And I ended up finding myself at an impasse to where I really just couldn't spend 6 hours every time I decided to go out to do all that research and due diligence. And it's a random, 2 a.m. thought. I was in bed, couldn't sleep. And I thought to myself, if there's a way that I can combine modern technology and apply that to a skill set that I was looking to develop, there could be some real chemistry there. And that was really the brainchild for the beginning of Subterrix. Luckily for me, though, my primary developer happens to be my nephew, and I was able to bait him early on by offering him equity. And by that, my nephew is brilliant. He's a member of Mensa. He worked for the Army Corps of Engineering, and he develops technology and does coding that allows Army bases to communicate with portable missile silos. So really advanced stuff. And when he was able to show me some of his capabilities, I said to myself, this is a match made in heaven. So we started building, and trying to make a long story short, what I quickly realized is that although I had these harebrained schemes of putting all of this together, I didn't have the credibility in this industry, nor did I have the skill set. And one of the things that I did early on, just like a lot of other people, is turn on YouTube. And I found, a bunch of guys, a couple of them, I'm a little bit of a fanboy, but like Brass Medic, Mark is one of my idols, right? And just try to learn as much as I can. And that's how I ended up coming across Merril, and a lot of friends that I've made since then, including guys that belong to my metal detecting club here in Staten Island. And through the president of the Metal Detecting Club, thankfully, he was able to connect me directly with Merril. And I really twisted his arm in trying to get his attention. And then when I did, it was kind of game on from there. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Merril, no matter what you say, that's it.
What about you, Merril? How'd this all come about?
Oh, that twisting the arm part. I needed a smack in the head in addition to the twist in the arm. Part of it, as many of you might know, I've had to take a break because of, help out my dad. It's any son's responsibility to do that. And sometimes you miss golden opportunities when you do that. And it wasn't until I used Subterrix that I was completely blown away and like, this is the future. This is disrupting metal detecting right now. Like right now, it is good. Right now, it is formidable. Right now, it will give you an advantage. But it took a while to connect us. So Mike, who is the president of Staten Island History Hunters, he told me over the summer, you need to speak to Ryan. He's got a great product. And, my mind has been in a zillion places lately, but we finally connected. I had about 103 fever, but I felt so bad because I kept putting it off and putting it off. And, the high fever hallucinations were happening as Ryan was showing me this. And I'm like, wait, you could do what? He channeled all of these different technologies, APIs, information rivers together to make the perfect storm to help predict where good metal detecting spots are. And it has LiDAR. It goes beyond LiDAR. It is predictive. It is really, really, really good. And once I used it on the beach first. Not everybody thinks of the beach for historic locations. And I got a video coming up about that, and it was a holy cow moment. And I decided, we went out to dinner, and it took me a little bravery to ask him, do you want an investor? And, he had seen my videos. I'm honored by that. I instantly became a fan of Ryan and, great person too. So, it's a really cool story, and I'm loving how this is evolving.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is a good story. It's a great story. And Tony and I, we told the story ahead of the show, how we got involved in it. So, I don't want to take up too much time. I think we told that story. If anybody has any questions, drop them in. I've already seen a number of really good questions come in. And we will get to those questions that I've starred. Ryan, do you want to drive? And we'll just start digging into Subterrix.
Yeah, let's do it. Again, appreciate the opportunity and grateful that we have a crowd here. Looking forward to displaying what the platform is capable of doing. What we have right now is an amalgamation of about 200,000 lines of coding. Just to kind of give you an example, the average website has about 3,000 lines of coding. So we are connected to multiple artificial intelligence endpoints, hundreds and thousands of other types of archaeological, historical, and state, federal plugging, over 77 million historical data points. And all of this was specifically been built for three purposes: metal detecting, archaeology, and treasure hunting. As a New Yorker and somewhat new to detecting a few years ago, I became instantly frustrated in being able to find locations. In New York, you really don't do much door knocking, not unless you want, 357 pulled in your face by the wrong person that's having a bad day. And I quickly became frustrated and was going on vacation. And long story short, realized that there should be a two-sided marketplace for metal detecting. And if there was a way that I can bring together detectorists that were either permissioned out or did not have property for themselves to detect on, and put them together with landowners that wanted to monetize their land, why not create a model for it? And that was really the genesis of Subterrix, quite frankly. And that was one of the first tools that we built. Ironically, it's taken the longest to bring to the market. And what I'm going to do first is just display to you what we plan on launching about mid-month. As I mentioned, Rent and Detect is essentially a platform that's a two-sided marketplace where users of Subterrix, free and paid, will have access to what we hope within the first 30 days of launching to anywhere between 250 and 500 properties across the United States. Merril and I have concluded a contract with a private equity firm in the UK that operates an organization here in the US where they have over 5,000 properties that is primarily used for renting or leasing to hunters, right? That's an abundance of properties. And what we've done is negotiated for them to put in anywhere between 250 to 500 properties. The platform itself is smart. It has a ton of logic built into it. So I'll just give everyone an example of what a listing will look like. This is a demo listing, just to kind of give you an example. Of course, just like any other marketplace, the owner of the product sets the price. For this particular property, we're just giving an example of around $75 a day. Any property will have an abundance of images that will be high res and go through a verification process. You're going to see here the city, the state. You will be able to search by distance from your home location or wherever it is that you may be. You can be on vacation and know that you're vacationing in Concord, California. Type in that zip code. You'll be able to find properties there. The owner will put in a minimum character amount about the property. What we will do then is identify, based on what their preferences are, any type of associative discounts, right? Whether it be multi-day discounts for the first 3 renters of a newly listing property, or for the weekend if they haven't rented it out, or the weekday, depending upon what their preference is. You'll notice here we will assign a hunt score. That's going to be incredibly important because a hunt score has logic behind it. The hunt score will always be out of 100, and we will do some light analysis using some of our tools to determine, out of 100%, from a historical significance perspective, property age, property size, terrain quality, and prior rentals that this property has had confirmed bookings for, how do we want to rate this property as far as it being ideal for metal detecting? Every time a property is rented, its native score will reduce by either a percentage or by a minimum of 3 points. So this property itself actually is ranked as 76, but you'll notice the logic that's built in here, identifying that the property has been rented one time prior. So we natively deduct the 3 points from there. And associatively, we will also deduct an appropriate amount off of the price. Based on additional information that we have, we will be able to identify any historical periods that the land was known for being around, any potential fines, and I'll explain how we're able to associate that later. Terrain analysis, any detecting recommendations. We'll highlight any rules that the property owner has identified, right? And then all you really need to do, just like any Airbnb or Vrbo, if you've booked before, is literally pay and book now. The landowner will have 2 options: to accept instant bookings or to review the booking before they accept it. And most of the time, they are also going to identify the maximum number of people that they're going to allow on their property. Okay?
If I could just interject really
Sure.
quickly, this is just one part of Subterrix. I was talking about the predictive part. This is one exciting part. There's people that book events for live digs, and this kind of makes it nonstop. This does make it nonstop. But this is just one part of Subterrix. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
It's okay.
Wanted to clarify that.
We're gonna jump into the meat and potatoes, Merril. The last thing that I'll say before we move on from Rent and Detect is that the average property will have approximately 30 acres. Right? There's going to be a higher degree of likelihood that the property will not have a home on it. That's something that we plan on incorporating in V2 of Rent and Detect. Most of these, though, are properties either in the woods or that don't have any type of physical address or a home on it, where it's just land that is available for people to detect. And yes, you'll be able to rate it and do all the other stuff that you're able to do on Vrbo and Airbnb. But that was the concept of rent and detect. We're currently right now configuring the final API connectivity so that properties can, on the back end, load in. And we're anticipating either a mid-May or a late May official launch of the rent and detect program. Okay.
Yeah, before we move on to the next section, we did have one question that I think was appropriate that you and I we've all discussed here previously, but I know Jason from Detect SD says, will any property owner retain the rights to keep the fines? And that's something that I know we discussed, but want to get that info out because that's a great question.
Yes. In the listing, we've built in the application for the owner to determine the outcome of any historical fines that are pulled out of the ground. So either they will not care, they will care and they want them all left, or they just want to be there towards the end at checkout, if you will, to be able to sort through that and pick, or at least just see. So the answer is yes, and great question. We do have that logic built into both the rent and detect platform on the listing side of the house. Yes.
Good.
And they've been doing this with game hunters for ages, right?
They have. Yeah. And why not take advantage of the abundance of real estate and property that's available and make it available to detectorists? God knows hunters don't need 5,000 properties across the United States. And even those that do rent out, right? There are a lot of times where properties don't end up getting leased for the year or for half of the year. So if those properties are staying dormant, why not get the ability to detect on that property and see what you can surface? Okay, great.
Very cool.
So we'll move on from rent and detect, and what we'll do now is we will go to what I refer to affectionately as the crown jewel of Subterrix, which is our Expedition Intelligence Planner. This platform was built around this tool. This tool is intended to provide any detectorist with comprehensive analysis in the event that they have a specific location in mind for metal detecting, and they don't necessarily want to leverage disparate research or Google searches to identify any historical value, any military value, any location value, any geographical value. This will do it all for you, and there's multiple ways of accessing it. First and foremost, you can certainly type in an address and it will pre-populate it for you. Right? A lot of times, I'm a woods detectorist. A lot of times there's no address. There's no proper address for the woods. You're able to literally click on pick a location on a map, zoom in and drop a pin anywhere that you like, and then select use this location. Okay. And for those that are late thinkers, I certainly put myself in that category. If you happen to already be out in the woods or on the location, and you want to be able to do an expedition report when you're out already from your mobile phone, and we will talk about an app towards the latter part of this, you will be able to use your current location that will ping a satellite, and an expedition plan will automatically run based on where you're pinging the satellite from. So there's 3 ways to access, actually 4 ways to access it. You can also drop a latitude, longitude if you like. Right? So address, latitude, longitude, pick a location on a map, or use your current location. In addition to that, as part of the buildup, artificial intelligence and LLMs feed on data. So the more data you provide as far as what you're looking to accomplish, the greater detail will take place. So you can select any type of item that you might be looking for. If you want to add any type of additional context, whether it be a homestead that you might be searching for or any period of time, you enter that here. You will also be able to determine what your trip duration is. This is how we identify what we refer to as priority targets. So if you know you're just going for a few hours and you want to just focus on the best, select a half a day. If you want more of an abundance of locations and targets to hunt, click full day, and appropriately so, multi-day, you can click multi-day. You then will click generate plan. Now, for the sake of time, I've already generated a plan. I randomly generated a plan where I drop the pin somewhere in the middle of New Jersey, right? Not my hometown, but a random place. And I'm going to go through this report in a pretty expedited manner. I will take screenshots of them and make them available on Subterrix's social media so that anyone can look at it. But the bottom line is that on any expedition plan, what you will be able to do first and foremost is export this in numerous ways. You can export to Google Earth, GeoJSON, right? That's more for archaeology, ArcGIS. You can log your finds, download it as a PDF. You can email the report, right? You can do it multiple ways. What it will typically do when a report generates is it will identify what the technology believes to be the best possible points within a certain radius of the pin that you drop or within the center line of the address that you're searching. Any one of these points, and you can obviously expand it here, any one of these points is going to have a historical value and give you data in detail about the points that the technology is pulling from. This is an incredibly powerful tool that is going to give you the Reader's Digest version of here's why you want to dig here, here's why you want to go to these locations, here's what we're pointing out for you to look at and for you to consider navigating yourself to. Okay? Once you have that locked in, you'll notice that each one of these lines here will correlate directly with the map associated above it. Okay? A lot of times people will say, well, that's great, but how do I actually know how to get to point 4 or any point on the actual map here? Well, that's actually pretty easy. If you navigate to the right-hand side of any one of these target zones, you can actually click on the phone icon. It will give you a disparate description. You can scan that QR code with your phone. As of right now, we'll open up Google Maps. You can save the location. Go ahead, Merril.
They could actually do that right now. You just gave away a great location.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. Anyone that lives in New York, New Jersey, you're more than welcome to go. I think this is near Brick, New Jersey, or somewhere.
Try it out. If you have if you're watching on your computer and you have your phone, try scanning it, and
scan it. It'll open up Google Maps. You can save it as a location, and then when you get to the location, you can simply save that point and use your phone as a compass and navigate directly to that area. Okay, when you're out in the woods. Okay. In addition to that, to the right of that is if you happen to be in your car and you need to navigate yourself with directions, we have that there as well. Okay. Now, I thought it'd be really important for the expedition plan to also incorporate topographical and historical mapping. So what we've done is we've applied a couple of really great overlays with multiple options here. You can either do side by side, and what we're looking for, obviously, are any one of these points, which are known foundations. This map happens to be the oldest that's available on a national basis, I think dating from somewhere in the late 1800s. Yes, we will incorporate other maps in the future so that you can take a look and toggle any way you want. But right now we do have a slider, right? That slider also can be applied to an overlay. And then depending upon what your preference is, you can simply slide left and right to determine, are there any physical points? So if, for example, here are two foundations or two known historical structures in this area. If we take a look at the current map, there's nothing here. So we can simply put the crosshairs anywhere, click on that location. It will generate a new QR code. You can scan that as well into your phone and navigate directly to that area as a saved location once you're actually on site.
I went ahead and just saved that right there. Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. As we continue to go down on the map, it will give you a target. This is really just a mathematical computation of the combination of historical proximity and a little bit of information associated with the points in aggregate, industrial activity, archaeological preservation, and settlement patterns. If you add all of those up and divide them, you'll get a raw score of 85. It's already identified that there are 5 target zones, right? And then for each target zone, it's going to do a number of things for you. It's going to tell you what the actual location had at that time. So here was a structure, right? It will determine just based on a scan if it's open land and detectable or if it's not, okay? It's going to identify different challenges that may be associated with that immediate area. So for this particular location, there's dense undergrowth that may impede access, right? It's going to identify what it is that you may find based on historical analysis. It's going to tell you the depth of any type of relic or coin that you expect to find. Here it's 4 to 12 inches, right? So it'll give you all 5 points. What I believe is the most impressive here is that we then take the data that we've layered and the access points that we've developed, and we are able to essentially tap into resources that aren't publicly available in a combination of things like Sanborn fire insurance maps and other government data where structures back from the 1800s, just like today, needed to be registered, and there's architectural plans on a website that's archived. We are able to essentially take any one of the points here, and if you click, in this particular case, this is called Mackenzie House. It was a residential estate at a museum preservation. It gives you a little bit of info, but you can simply click on View What Stood Here, and this will put together a historically accurate rendering of what that property would have looked like in this particular case in 1895. This is not a picture. This is an AI analysis based on the historical data that we've been able to pull through multiple databases. Now, for those, including myself, who challenge things like this and call BS, I actually went ahead in advance of this and I simply Googled Mackenzie House, right, in whatever town, in Monmouth County, right? And if you take a look at what the property looks like today, by the way, the AI has no idea that this structure still exists. This is what the house looks like today. So if you scroll back and forth, you'll notice the 2 chimneys on each side of the house, historically accurate, right? 4 large square windows with shutters on the top, 4 on the bottom, a portico, right? So it's never going to be 100% accurate, but I've done this with fireplaces that still exist in structures, other structural and historical areas. Right. So here's an example of another one. For example, here is a historical mill that would have been in that area. If anyone's inclined, Google it and see if you can actually get a rendering of it. If you can't, it just may be that there's no architectural drawings of it known to exist. But this will give you essentially a lifelike re-rendering of what that particular structure would look like. Okay. So to wrap up Expedition Planner here, once we provide all that information, it will then give you historical context as far as the property. This one dates back to about 1800 is where things are on record. It will then outline your day schedule and tell you where you should be digging and the type of detecting pattern you should be using. It will do a soil analysis based on the zip code that you're typing in. Right? It's going to identify whether it's good drainage. It's going to identify the depth, the type of soil. It's then going to make recommendations based on the detector that you have on record in your dashboard. And then it's going to give you other historical nearby points of interest that you might be interested in, or that this particular location might be close in proximity to. Okay? That is available for free users and our paid subscribers. So that is the Expedition Report. I'll take a pause there. Merril, if you have anything to add, or guys, if you want to pop some questions up, certainly be happy to answer those.
There was a question about the use on if somebody doesn't have a computer.
Yeah, so I'm going to strongly suggest that if you don't have a computer, use an iPad. We're in the process right now of analyzing developers and I see the question here from Riddle's Relics 1278. We're in the midst of negotiating to have an app built. That's probably going to be towards the latter part of the summer for there to be a fully functional app that will have all of our tools available on the Subterrix app through the Google Play Store or the Apple Store.
Yeah. And you mentioned right at the end of that segment about some of those features available on the free version, and then there's a paid version. I think Portugadiga said, does it cost money? So you want to explain, like, just real quick, the difference between what people get for a free version versus what the paid versions are like, just so they have it in their head as we're moving forward.
So literally, everyone, the only difference in access is how many credits you get per month, right? So for any free subscriber, right, someone that registers for Subterrix, you don't need to put in a credit card. We don't want your data unless you want to have greater access to more amount of credits. Every free subscriber gets 20 credits per month to allocate at whatever tool they want to use. Every tool has a different credit cost, right? So if I just pull that up quickly, you'll notice that the expedition planner that I just displayed costs 2 credits. So theoretically, you can run 10 expedition plans that are half day a month for free without paying Merril and I or Subterrix a dime, right? A lot of them are less than 2 credits. A lot of them are 2 credits. Some go into 3, and our most expensive one is the Recon report, which gives ownership data and parcel data. We'll talk about that as well, but it costs nothing to register for Subterrix, and every free user gets 20 credits per month. It's not rollover, but it does reset on the first of each month for you to apply on a universal credit basis as you see fit.
Yeah, it's meant to be tried, kicked around, see if it resonates. There's more to show you. It's pretty amazing, but
this is one of numerous tools
where I started, and it was pretty. It got me to a place that I never would have thought of, and had a pretty spectacular day, and I've been hooked ever since and on a hot streak.
Right, and this is a tool. This is a research tool. I know Tony and I are research junkies, and I think I saw a comment earlier where, like, man, this is kind of taking the fun out of it, and that's one way to look at it. I mean, Tony, I do enjoy researching as much as and learning the history and all that stuff. That's great. This is just another tool to take you down different rabbit holes, and maybe you take a look at things differently, show you areas you maybe haven't thought of before. And maybe even it just shows you something that doesn't answer all your wildest desires, but it definitely points you into a direction that now you have a rabbit hole to go down. And because at the times I've used it so far, it's been like that. Right. This one area that Tony and I hunt, I put that in because I knew where the areas were there, and I wanted to see if it would pop on them and bring stuff up. And not only would it do that, but it would also give me some additional information in the historical context that I have never been able to learn yet. Yep. So I had some new words now to go search. But what do you mean these pioneers were called this? Never heard them called that in this area. So now I went down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? And to me, it was worth the free version for me to use 2 credits out of the 20 to get that bit of information, paid for didn't have to pay anything. It was part of the free version. So it is a tool, and it is very intense, and it is very, very intricately involved. And we're only through one of many tools so far that it has in it.
Many tools.
If I had the talent in being able to figure out how to tell everyone where the actual coins and relics are, I would, but I can't. So this is still going to require you to use, and I've had plenty of conversations with people that don't necessarily love Subterrix, and they say, well, it's not going to replace skill. You're right. It's not intended to replace skill. The technology is intended to complement the skill and give you a better opportunity to yield better results if that's what you choose. If it's kind of like, I have a friend of mine who's around my same age, and he just now started to use a cell phone. If you don't want to use it, by all means, right? We're not looking to do anything other than to put the tool in the people's hands that want to be able to use it, to give them a better opportunity or to bring some history to life and give them something to do while they're home so that they don't have to spend hours upon hours of research if they want to search for a single location and get the most data as quick as possible.
Sure.
My experience was this. It led me to a site that I never thought of, and perhaps everybody overlooked because there was a lot that was there. Another time, it brought me to a park, and the grass was disturbed, and you know how it is when you put fill dirt on top, and really it didn't have a good day there. It was in historic grounds, but it was altered there, so it didn't. And you could come across that also, places that were detected before this. Like it gives you ideas. It opens up possibilities. I think the most exciting thing is it gives you suggestions, and it really combines all of these different streams of information to give you a much better inference. And if you trust it, you'll go, and sometimes you'll have a great experience, just like metal detecting. Sometimes it'll be bonanza, sometimes it will be a miss.
Yeah, I've come home, and this isn't good for business, but I've come home plenty of times without anything meaningful, right? Because there's no guarantee that someone hasn't detected the heck out of that area that no one knows about, right? Or no one dropped anything, right? Or it wasn't as populated, or I was looking in the wrong area, although I was in the right proximity. So this is intended to be a tool that aggregates data and delivers that to your fingertips. That's really what this is and nothing more. Shall we move on to LiDAR, guys?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There are amazing fail safes here too, like different layers of information that you could uncover. LiDAR, go. Yep.
Okay, I know Merril loves this tool.
Yes.
So
I do too now.
I do too. This is the only one I'll use from now on.
Yep.
To be honest with you.
I agree.
So LiDAR, the reason why these guys are kind enough to say that is a lot of the technology that we're using for our LiDAR tool is military grade, just based on our developers' capabilities and knowledge of how to apply LiDAR. And LiDAR, for me, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Natively, LiDAR looks really cool, but the truth of the matter is that half the people, if not more, either on this program or that use LiDAR have absolutely no idea what they're looking at. And I thought to myself, if we can enhance the qualitative aspect of LiDAR and then leverage technology to be able to actually read the terrain from a metal detectorist perspective, we really have something great. So this is just a landing page of LiDAR. Similarly to Expedition Plan, you can drop in latitude, longitude, you can type an address, you can pick a location on a map or use your location, right? I proactively or preemptively ran a search for a local park. For those of you that are in the area, this is Willowbrook Park in Staten Island, New York, which also is historically rich. And there's a few things that everyone should know. Most LiDAR, or at least a good portion of LiDAR that's available through the government, you're only able to zoom down to about 20% to ground level before the LiDAR gets blotchy, blurry, or pixelated.
Not
right?
this.
Our LiDAR is much, much different. We have the capacity to zoom, and you'll see it shortly. We have the capacity to zoom even closer, right? What I wanted to display and what I wanted to show everyone here for our iLiDAR program is after the location is entered and the analysis is done, we make this, and I love to refer to things as the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid, right? What is it that they're looking at? Why is the technology identifying these 3 points in this area? What is it saying? And how is it applicable? So for, where we have this hovered over here, this is saying that this is a park center search zone. It's known for being a drainage channel, natural collection of point or lost items, right? Check exposed banks and the areas just above the high water marks, right? Similarly, you have the ability to click on a QR code and navigate yourself to this area like you do with any tool, right? The second point here is a homestead, a known homestead depression near the Corson site. The Corson site is a well-known homestead dating back to the late 1700s. It's going to give you instructions on it. The third is a settlement basin, right? For anyone that's a little bit more advanced, there's some additional data here. Okay, we do have a heat map here. Merril just came out with a video on that. What we're doing is natively showing our users, hey, in this area, there's a likelihood of a concentration of artifacts. So outside of these immediate points, you may want to venture over to this particular area.
You do not get that with any other LiDAR.
In addition to that, we've got some amazing tools that we have available. First is kind of what makes iLiDAR is what I'll refer to as high res. So when you click on high res, you'll notice the crosshairs here. Any area that you find interesting, you're able to hover the crosshairs over, click scan here, and what it will end up doing is rendering an incredibly close visual, showing you veins that are underneath the ground, any unexposed area, any foundations, any cellar holes, right? It's going to give you incredible data. And you'll notice here that the scan is 0.5 meters from the ground. That's unheard of. And that's what makes LiDAR, our LiDAR tool, incredible, because it really allows for really clear, really close analysis.
Is that a guy walking his dog right there?
Well, you're about to see what I think is the most impressive. If that wasn't enough, we do have a 3D tool that will end up pulling data. This is where archaeology companies end up coming to us saying, we really want to license your technology. What we've done here is remove the hillshade from the natural LiDAR. And if I zoom in, everyone here will notice that LiDAR is nothing more than just millions and millions of dots. And if you think about hillshade, you take liquid rubber, you pour that over the dots, and that's what LiDAR looks like. So what we have the ability to do, first and foremost, is take a look at the land, first and foremost, to see where the elevation points are. So clearly blue is outlined for lower elevation. As you get higher, go into the greens and the oranges and reds. Staten Island is not incredibly hilly, right, or mountainous, although there are areas. Willowbrook Park isn't in that particular case. But what's amazing is that we have the ability to do a number of things that I promise no one's ever seen before. Outside of looking at the 3D rendering, what we also have the ability to do is see the ground from below, right? We're looking for depressions and voids in the ground to look or identify any areas that we might be interested in searching, right? We have the ability to hover out. We have the ability to go up and down, right? Go even, zoom in, zoom out. But that's not to me what I find most impressive about this tool. If that wasn't enough, you can click the cogwheel here and actually change the height scale, right? Add some edge detail and point detail. And now that we zoom in, you can actually take a look at what the ground actually looks like in 3D. Okay. Anyone that sees these pixelated or these little miniature dots here, that's nothing more than just trees and shrubs. We have the ability to get rid of them by just clicking ground only, right? So we have the ability to actually take a look and identify what this exact spot might look for, or what might it look like in 3D from above, from the side, and from below in 360 view. Okay, you can simply X out of here, right? You can restart if you don't like that view, right? You can remove any of the height scale, right, to make it flat again, right? If you don't like that at all, you can go back here, right? So you can move your point on the map, okay? And what I find, and I'll show you the next slide in just a minute, but the last tool that I want to show everyone here is what we call the Sentinel scan. This is a satellite that was launched by the military. The satellite is actually called Copernicus. This is for people that really are into it. You're able to look at moisture, vegetation, plant health, geology, and what most people are using this for is structures. So if I scan the Sentinel scan right here, what it's going to do is render and analyze different likelihoods. This is a live heat map, right, of red, orange, yellow, and green areas, and it's going to analyze every single one of those points so that you can determine whether or not you want to dig around the areas above and beyond the three that we've shown, where you might want to make your way. Red and dark indicate a strong structure signal, old foundations, buildings, walls, and cellars. So you may want to go outside of the points, and any one of these are likely going to be worthy of metal detecting, and we put a confidence level in each one of these. Okay. I wanted to show everyone here, and out of respect for Tony and Ken, I actually brought up a LiDAR so that everyone can see in the Colorado. Actually, I'm sorry, I think this is Utah. And the reason why I wanted to do this is our LiDAR is national. We have national coverage for it. But what's really cool, above and beyond just being able to zoom in and you see everyone can see how it re-renders, what's really cool that most people don't know is you can actually do a 3D scan of any particular property from above, beyond, and you can actually scale it if you wanted to and continue to just render if you're looking for any particular property virtually from any angle. I think this is Utah that I picked, or Arizona or something like that.
And when we looked at it the other day, I thought this was really cool. And if you remember the comment I made on it, a lot of times here in Colorado, when we're going out to find places to detect, especially if it's in big, large, barren areas or whatever, LiDAR like this showing us the elevation changes is very important, because we have a lot of Native American here, and a lot of Native American artifacts are found on high ground above water. And if you can find these sharp cliff drop-offs along a flat next to a plateau with some water below it, that becomes a prime target for possibly looking for Native American artifacts there.
Wow.
And to be able to see a really good LiDAR image of that could help zero in. Not only is there metal detecting targets going to be here because there was a homestead right there, but you see how that's flat? Well, if homesteaders steaded there, there's a good chance Native Americans camped there. And then look, you have that sharp drop off down to that water. I'm going to go check that area out.
Oh. I would, not that I want to challenge anyone, but at least I've never seen clarity like this on any LiDAR program before. Again, folks, this is free for you to use. I think every LiDAR scan, you can actually do native LiDAR for free. Yes. So the answer, 5 Mile Relic Hunter, is yes, it's free. What actually costs you credits is if you wanted to run the scan where it's analyzing the terrain for you. But this itself is a free tool.
Okay. Great question, Larry.
Bingo.
Excellent.
Crazy.
Questions or any more questions, or we're ready to move on?
Yeah. And I'm not, Tony and I have no financial interest in this. We're not partners with Ryan or Merril. We used the program. We thought it was really impressive. We thought we'd bring them on to showcase it to our listening audience and to the community. I've basically only been using the free version. So I do have more credits, so I can check more of it out. But so far, I just haven't used that much. The free 20 credits you get a month is pretty darn good, because I know that's what a lot of people think, like, oh, you're not going to get enough. It's always going to be a paid version. And yeah, if you get the paid version, believe me, you can do a lot more. But the free 20 credits a month, it's going to give you access to that LiDAR. It's going to give you access to those expedition reports that we talked about so far, and even some of the other tools that are coming up, because we're not done. Wait, there's more.
All right. So I guess that's my cue to move on.
Real quick, though, before you do, just want to remind everyone, hang in with us here towards the end of the show, because we got something really special, if you guys are interested in this program, to let you in on. So there we go.
Awesome. Thanks. The next thing that I thought was important was actually something practical and a challenge that I found myself. Living in Staten Island, New York, there's still a lot of vacant land here. And although when people think of, a borough of New York City, yes, it is populated, but there's still a lot of parcels of land that have not been developed. And it's really frustrating for me. I've lived in this area for 11 years, and there are properties that I've driven through 1,000 times, and I thought to myself, who owns that parcel of land? What does that parcel of land consist of? Is it privately owned? Is it public? Is it federal? Is it state? Is it county? How do I find out more information on it? So we built the Recon property report. Not that I want everyone coming over my house at the same time, but this literally is my home address. Okay. And the reason I did that was very specific. First and foremost, when you do a search, it's going to essentially just give you an executive summary. 1586 Woodrow Road is classified as a private residential land multifamily designation. That's accurate. Ownership records indicate Agatha Arante, that's my wife, is a current owner, right? Parcel size of 2,612 square feet. It's then going to identify for you that, hey, digging on private property from a legal perspective is considered trespassing by Penal Code 140.05, right? And that it has no managing agency associated with the property. Okay, so it's just going to give you a little bit of a summary there. It's then going to go into a little bit more detail on the property profile, right? The parcel size, the terrain, the current use, is it residential, commercial, right? But then what I thought was really important is for everyone to see. I live in what's called a multifamily, right? So it's essentially one big house that's split in half. I've got neighbors that I can knock on this back wall here, and they're there. And what you'll notice here is it's still able to segregate out the parcel of land that my wife and I own. So 1586 is this land. It's a property on the left-hand side. My neighbors, who are 1584, are to the right of that. Okay. It will then give you some additional info. My house was built in 2000, so there's no real historical timeline. It will do a light environmental and soil context analysis. It's going to give you then the full penal code and the law within regards to trespassing in New York City. It's then going to identify, if you are going to dig, you at least need to apply with the New York Parks Department and have a metal detecting permit, although that does not give you permission to go on private property. Okay. And then what I thought was the most practical is, why not build in what I think of as the best permission request letter available in the marketplace, and let the technology do the writing for you. So all you really need to do is essentially just fill in your information, identify if you're part of a club, if you are, identify if you carry liability insurance. I do. Determine your experience level. And by the way, this is the same application, at least right here, that someone asked a question before, rent and detect, whether or not you're willing to share any fines that you have through an arrangement, right? I would never want owner keeps everything. I would say share significant fines. Identify what you're looking for. Identify what might be an ideal date for you to go there, a preferred time, and any additional information here, and then generate a letter. What this is going to do is it's going to aggregate all of that data, and this is going to generate, in my opinion, what is the most effective permission request letter that you can then, once it's generated, it will address the owner by last name respectfully. It's going to give a little intro as to who you are and what your interest is. It's going to identify for you, in this particular case, that you carry liability insurance through whichever program. Promise that you respect the property. When you're looking to dig, feel free, happy to reach out if they want, including your contact info. So from there, you can either copy it to a clipboard, print it, you can download it as a PDF, or if you don't like the language, you can have it regenerate. Right? Look at an envelope, put it in the mail.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Sure.
These permission letters like this are always almost as touchy sometimes as rubbing your coin or not rubbing your coin, right? You get people on both sides of the fence there. And I'm a big believer, and I think everyone usually is, a face-to-face door knocking. There's nothing better than that. That is absolutely the way to go, 100%. But Tony knows I'm also a big user of using Facebook groups and putting out open calls to historic items or historic properties in local Facebook groups and such. And also, if I go to another town that's, say, 100 miles away, I know it's a real historic town, I use your tool to kind of get this information and get some targets, if you will, of people maybe I want to approach. But I don't have no time to go 100 miles away, but I want to target this area at some point. You could send these letters, and it's a letter of introduction. It's written real well. I thought it was written real well.
Yep.
And maybe it gets you, out of the 10 letters you sell, you get 1 or 2 maybes. Hey, let's talk, whatever. And it opens another door. You didn't have those opportunities before. You didn't go drive 100 miles and go to that town. We have a good buddy of ours that does this a lot in states away. Searches very historic areas, and he'll approach them from states away and get 1 or 2 fish on the line, if you were. I hate to use that term, but that's what it is. And he'll reach out to them, be real respectful, and eventually go out and meet with 3 or 4 of them and set up a relationship. But these are great intro letters. I don't, you shouldn't knock it, but
more opportunity, right? Just more tools in your toolbox. You and I get a lot of questions from people. How do I start? How do I do this? And that type of thing. this generates it for you. It's all part of the program.
Yep. Use it as you see fit.
Yep.
Sure.
Locally, or if you're looking a couple hours away and you don't want to, take an entire day trip and stand there and knock on every door that you're interested in, this is, again, a good tool for you to leverage as to how you see fit.
Agreed.
Okay.
Really quick,
Merril.
just a friendly reminder, if you guys could follow us on social media, we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we have a YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of teaching on this. I'm sure Ryan will be too. He's really rolling tonight. I'm loving the presentation. But that's really important. Also, stay tuned. As Ken and Tony said, there is a special gift coming.
Yeah, we let's just say that we want to incentivize everyone for using the tool for free. So we'll give more details. But thanks, Merril. Yeah, that's great. Oh, by the way, there is a tutorial on every page. There's a basic audio and visual tutorial that they can click if they want. But yes, Merril will be doing a lot of tutorials online.
Those tutorials are awesome too. That's how I learned in the first place. So yeah.
Okay. So what I want to quickly jump to, and this is going to be incredibly quick, the next couple tools is Field IQ. The concept here came from a lot of frustration that I've had over the last few years in seeing every single opinion about how I should set my detector based on what I'm looking for, where I'm hunting. And again, I will give Mark Dayton credit. I still use his Equinox 900 settings. Mark, I love you. Thank you for that. I refuse to change it. I don't care what Field IQ says. That's just the way it is. I've tweaked it, but I always go back to your settings. So I'm incredibly grateful. But the Field IQ platform is intended to do just that. We've literally swallowed 15 full manuals, or the technology has ingested 15 full manuals for what we consider to be the 15 most popular and most powerful detectors. And we have them by tiers. So essentially what you do is you select your detector, you identify what it is specifically that you're looking to hunt. In this case, for this example, I'm going to go beach and saltwater. I've selected a Deus 2 out of respect for Merril because that's his go-to. You can also identify the type of terrain type. Again, here we'll do beach or wet sand because Merril loves to detect on the beach. We type in the zip code and we generate settings. And what this will do is this will go through the entire power configuration of the manual, right? Then it will take a look and do an incredibly deep dive on the soil analysis and the location that you're at and what you're looking for, and put together an incredibly detailed and powerful suggestion as to how you should change your native settings specifically for that type of hunt. I'm going to turn this over to Merril here, but one thing I just want to point out is that this beach and saltwater setting that we have, we developed together, and it's so incredibly powerful and accurate because this is actually communicating with buoys in the location that we're searching. So you'll see here that, it's connecting to live to buoy 4402 and rocks at co-op station 8516891. And it's literally helping us figure out what the best configurations are. And this is what the Field IQ setting is intended to be for the Deus at the beach.
Okay, I've got to go there real quick, Merril, before you get into it. I have to do it. I have to do it. My conscience won't let me not do it. Will it connect with Baba Buoy? Come on, you guys are in New York. You know I was going to go there.
I haven't heard Baba
All of the other
Buoy in a
buoys.
while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All the other buoys except Baba.
There we go. All right, sorry.
We
Merril.
even have a Howard Beach in New York. So yeah.
There you go.
Yep. So we had like an earth science geek out. Like it's so cool working with Ryan, and you know how passionate I get about beach detecting, and it's getting data from the ocean, and it's getting measurements from the land in terms of the type of soil that could be there. It is a very smart and ambitious program, and Ryan has taught me stuff I didn't even know was possible in terms of getting the data, getting the streams, and leveraging technology to make smart choices. It's up to you. The technology can help you inference. Final decision is up to you. But sometimes it's fun to just go on cruise control and trust a little bit and see how it goes. Especially if you're not having a good day with your own thoughts. It leads to new possibilities, but it factors in detectors. It factors in pretty much all of the variables to give you the best choice possible. That's what technology could do. It could process more. It's set up by humans, but it could process more than us. And this is just, I'm so impressed.
Well, Merril, I appreciate it. And this particular program was really your brainchild. I just helped you kind of bring it to life. But what I insisted on here is not one, look, sometimes people set like I do, and it's a while, since they last changed, target separation. What this also does towards the bottom, it'll literally read out to you the exact way based on your machine to change your settings to what it's recommending. So you don't have to go back to YouTube and look at a video that you saw 3 years ago as far as how to configure your machine to the way that you want. It will give you step-by-step instructions specific for your machine. So that's the Field IQ setting. We are going to end up ingesting probably 10 or 12 more machines, but we started with the 15 most popular, most powerful. Okay?
Love it.
All right.
That's
Moving
incredible.
on. This is really something that I'm incredibly proud of. And you'll notice that it looks different and from the other tools, and it's intended to look different. As we launched Subterrix, and as this kind of went from thought to in concept to a real product, I had hundreds of people reach out to me and say, Ryan, I love the expedition report. It's incredibly powerful. I love that it can tell me everything that I want to know about a particular piece of property or a land as far as where I should detect. The problem is I have no idea where I should detect. So I thought to myself, there's got to be a way to flip the expedition planner on its head. And instead of a user identifying where they want to detect and pulling the data based on that, to turn that completely on its side and do all of the research and back end work behind the scenes so that it can then spit out, based on the analysis and based on where the user is, the actual top locations that people can detect. So this is giving you both the best worlds of Expedition Planner, but Deep Strike by Merril, by the way. This is in honor of my relationship with Merril. Deep Strike is intended for the user to enter an address or a zip code, and within 10 miles, it will do all of the back-end analysis and give you the absolute best locations to search. So in this particular area, I typed in my zip code. The first one that it's going to automatically pull up is probably the most historical value in all of Staten Island, which is Conference House Park. Right? It's an amazing, it's a historical area. You can detect on it. It's going to give you a little description. You do have the ability to star and save this location. Merril, thank you for that. We've added that here, right? You can send it to your phone. It's going to give you a breakdown of why it's scoring it the way that it is, from terrain to historical to foot traffic, soil quality, points of interest, proximity, accessibility, right? It'll also then give you part of the score as to why it's scoring it so well, because it's near these other points of interest, right? It will then give you a full terrain analysis, what the best timing is to detect. And of course, it will not give you land ownership unless you want to spend the credit, and then open this up automatically in a property recon report to determine, are you allowed to detect on this particular property? So Deep Strike is intended to help people find locations to dig when either they're out of permissions or they just don't know where to go.
Insane.
Questions?
I don't know if I'm worthy of that, honestly. We get so many questions from beginner detectorists that are like, where do I start, Tony? Like Ken said, you guys do so much research. How do you get on these sites? You've stripped that skill away and given people a direction, not the all and
Correct.
not the entire thing, but you've given them a direction to start at, and get anybody, beginners, experienced, in the right direction to find the right areas to be looking for. And
So
blows my mind.
while you were talking, just as you were talking, I was looking off screen because I have Subterrix open to my left, and I just went into Deep Strike, and I chose an old town that's up north here near me, and I had never really looked into this town yet. So I thought, oh, that'd be good for me just to go Deep Strike it and see what it does. And I'm like, I kind of want to end the show now because I want to go look at these things
info.
and these goodies that have just popped up in front of me. A few of them I knew about, 3 or 4 or 5 of them I didn't, and I now want to go look into that now. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's what Deep Strike's really, really good for. I
Yeah.
think, like you were saying, is you don't really know what you're looking for in that area, but you know it's a cool area.
It's there.
But you do this
All
kind
about
of
illustrating possibilities.
possibilities.
Correct.
Amazing.
All right. So we'll move on quickly. There's just a couple additional points to hit, and then we'll wrap up, and we'll announce why we've asked everyone to stay. Both of the tools that I'm about to show everyone here is intended for post-metal detecting, right? One of the things that I became incredibly frustrated with is once I pulled something out of the ground, more so an artifact. We'll do coins next, but an artifact, I wanted to be able to identify, well, what type of metal is it? What shape is it in? And how do I either preserve it, clean it, or restore it? The Artifact Care Almanac does that for you. So in this particular case, you'll notice that I uploaded 3 pictures here. This is actually a dagger that I found in the middle of the woods that dates back to the mid to late 1800s. It's going to identify the metal composition for you, right? It's then going to identify visually what it sees, right? So an iron blade with a bronze hilt, possibly a dagger or small sword, right? If it's not correct, it will then tell you what the possibilities are, okay? It's then going to give you a condition assessment, and I found this really cool. So you'll notice on the dagger here, as you hover the area, it's going to give you kind of a bird's eye report of what the condition is in 4 areas: structural, surface, corrosion, and patina. So what you'll notice, and what I'll just point out here, because I'm not going to go into incredible detail, structural, you'll notice here that there's a notch on both sides where a piece of the blade broke off. Well, it's identifying that for you under structural, right? It'll give you an analysis of the surface, of the patina and the condition and any active corrosion, and identify the type of corrosion that it will give. And then finally, it'll offer 3 different and very good care tracks, how to stabilize it. So for those people that don't like to clean, they just want to keep it stable and not let it get any worse, that's track A. Track B is, I love cleaning it, I don't want to destroy it, but I also want to preserve it, right? And then track C is, I want to bring this back to life. Well, most of the time you need a conservationist to do that. It will also try to give you any historical or numismatic context. And then lastly, it will identify and give you 3 kind of tools outside of Subterrix that you might want to look at to further conserve or preserve it. Okay, so that's called Artifact Care Almanac. Okay, alongside that is A-Identify. There are plenty of decent tools out there for coin identification. The problem, I think, most of them require coins to be very clean, right? And American. Where I live in Staten Island, we had the British, the French, and the American armies all fighting for territory. There's plenty of French and plenty of British coins. And I was frustrated, trying to figure out what's what. So I chose this specifically because I wanted people to see the ability for our technology to identify, to the best of its ability, coins that are virtually worn down to the nub. Right? There's virtually nothing here. So outside of the size that it's analyzing, outside of being able to identify anything visually as far as reading is concerned, it will try and give you the best possible reference match. And what it's doing here, and I picked this coin on purpose, you'll notice here it says GEO here. You can just barely make it out, right? It's then going to give you a little historical context, whether it's common, any additional numismatic data, right? We connect to Numista and dozens upon dozens of identifiers and historical references, right? If you're interested in learning more, it's going to reference the article or the reference number for it. And if it's not accurate, and sometimes that happens, it will give you other likely possible matches for that coin. Every time you select yes or no, this platform's an LLM. It's going to get smarter. Okay. You then have the ability to save this to your dashboard, and we're not going to have time for dashboard, but that's really just an aggregate of all the reports and all of the research and all of the analysis. It saves your favorite YouTubers in one area. We have monthly articles and blogs that we come out with, so it's a great area for you to kind of gather all the data. But that's A-Identify. Okay.
I played.
Yeah, go ahead.
I played with this, and I gave it a very challenging item, something that not very many people anywhere know about. So I was really knowing that it was going to have a really hard time helping identify it. And it was a relic. It wasn't a coin. It was coin shaped, but it was a saddle adornment, right? That had a very specific symbol on it that was Isle of Man, a symbol of Isle of Man. It was 3 armored legs, right, in a spiral. And I put it in there, and I chose not coin. I chose the other option, which is like for relics and artifacts. And it went through, and it was trying to identify it as a medallion. And I think it thought it was Chinese at first, and it was kind of going down that route. But then it gives you possible other options. And this one thing popped up about 4 options down, and it said drawer or other adornment - Isle of Man. So it did hit Isle of Man from that symbol, but it wasn't able with one sitting pick. I didn't show the backside picture. I just showed the front side picture, and told it what time, size it was and stuff. So again, it didn't nail it exactly, but again, it then gave me the option to say, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. And then this option, yeah, this is closer to what it is. Right.
Yep.
I was pretty impressed with it actually for that.
Yep. Process of elimination. And now that you marked the 4th option and as correct, the next time someone goes on and has something similar, it will rank it higher in the logic process. Right. So it continues to get better. It's never going to be 100% because there's just so many options, but we do continue to put time, effort, and energy into making it better. The last tool that we have to show here is, again, another free tool. This is entirely free. You can use this to your heart's content. This is called our Explorer Map. The Explorer Map, we have a bunch of different tools available and toggles that you can leverage. What I wanted to be able to show everyone is that we're one of the only people that have access to a national historical archive of old maps. It doesn't matter where you live. What it's going to do is it's going to present and stitch together for you the oldest possible map available in your location. It's going to obviously identify old known structures and locations, whether you're in California or whether you're in Cape Cod. It doesn't make a difference, right? What this also has the ability to do, if you're interested in it, if you wanted to, for example, take a look at soil analysis, this will then, you can pop that in and identify, all right, well, this area, what type of soil does it have, right? Density heat maps, national parks and trails, hiking trails, satellite, topographical, zoom in, zoom out. You're also able to drop a pin anywhere you want, and it's going to give you a very light version of Expedition Planner where it's going to analyze wherever you drop the pin and give you some light historical data, other points of historical or military interest, areas that are known for having historical relevance in that particular area. This is the only one that I actually didn't run. This will take about 45 seconds to compute. And then it'll spit out, different areas that it's going to suggest for you to detect on. But the Explorer tool is completely free. There's never a cap on it. There's never credits that you'll need. And by the way, so here's some detecting intel here, right? Here's some artificial intelligence. Here's some inferred themes. There's 13 nearby historical sites that you want to be aware of in that immediate area. right? It's going to give you a little bit of a terrain scan, land and timing, and then you can click on any one of those, and it's going to list out for you historical or relevant locations based on where you are and what areas might be interesting for you to do further due diligence on.
I am huge. Ken and I are both huge on maps, and that when we went through this as well, that's like our hot topic is maps. Love looking at maps, trying to look at figuring out from the maps to provide for us, and that's an incredible tool. Like you said, that's free all the time.
Free all the time. There's no credits that anyone needs to spend. Per your suggestion, Tony, I think it was your suggestion, we are going to be adding additional historical maps to it. So you'll be able to select everything from, late 1800s all the way through, if you want the 50s or 60s, if you're looking for a specific structure or a specific area. So there's going to be additional overlays available. But the point here, again, is to whether you're using an expedition report or you're playing around with the Explorer, the intent here is to advocate for metal detecting, to be good stewards of the industry, to enhance the experience, and to let people do what they want in order to overall enjoy the hobby better. And that was really the premise behind building all of this.
Incredible.
Yeah. Whew. All right, everyone okay? Is everyone okay? Everyone blood pressure good? Everyone can relax?
By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't say my other idol looks to be in here, and that's Quarter Hoarder. Man, Jason, I love you, dude. I don't want to embarrass you. I know everyone here, whether it be Mark or Jason or in this case, Merril too, as my business partner, but you guys have been instrumental and so encouraging without, never having the opportunity to speak. I largely fell in love with metal detecting because of the passion that you guys have as what I consider the goats of the detecting community. So I'm grateful for the indirect guidance and the passion that you guys bring individually.
Yeah. Ryan, I got to say, you painted the Sistine Chapel here. I might have a dot on it, but like this is the metal detecting research Sistine Chapel, and I'm so impressed.
Well, thank you.
Happy to be on the team.
Very impressive, sir.
I'm happy to have you. All right, can we get to some kind of giveaway or special?
Yeah.
So what did we decide to do? Like, you guys are gracious enough to come on here, and you kind of hinted around about something. But who wants to take this? Well, you just let the Subterrix people kind of come out and talk about what's going to happen here for our Relics Radio listeners.
Yep.
Sure. So Merril and I had a conversation about what we can do to reward everyone for having to listen to my annoying voice for the last hour and some odd minutes. So for anyone that is still on here that we haven't put to sleep yet or angered, what we wanted to do was reward you for being here and listening to us and learning a little bit about Subterrix. So as we mentioned earlier, and for anyone that signs up, any kind of Tom, Dick, or Harry that signs up off the street will get 20 credits per month, every month on the first of the month. We wanted to reward everyone here to where if you sign up, again, no credit card required, right? And you can, by the way, just go to the homepage, click on Get Started Here, enter your basic data, right? And what we've done is it's going to ask you, are you a registered member of a metal detecting club? Because this was so last minute, we didn't have another category, but you're going to select yes, right? You're then going to select your club, right? Not your club.
Guess whose club you belong to out there?
You belong to Relics Radio right here.
Darn right, okay. You belong to Relics Radio Club.
And what we will do is we've set the technology to deposit 100 credits in your account so that you can use the tool as much as you want. And then after the 100 credits is up, whenever that is, it could be, the first day that you play with it, although I would be impressed if anyone spent 100 credits in one day. But it'll then reset to 20 credits once the first of the month resets. So everyone's more than welcome to join, to play around with it. I literally type an email thanking people for joining by hand. I give out my cell phone number. We're accessible. We want to hear the good, bad, and the ugly. It's important that we continue to learn. And then lastly, what I'll say here is for those of you that feel a little overwhelmed from the very beginning, this is a very powerful tool. I would be remiss if I didn't say that anyone, whether you sign up today and get 100 credits for the month or 20 credits, if you click this toggle to go from pro to go, this is literally point and click. It takes away a lot of the overwhelming data and simplifies this into 5 categories. Where should I detect? What? So essentially, expedition planner, what's at this spot, right? What's underground, which is LiDAR, who owns this land, which is property recon, and set up my detector, which is field IQ. It takes all of the complexity away. It's going to cost you the same thing to use the credits, but you can, use one or the other, whatever you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, because some people get really overwhelmed. We've had a number of comments in here and we warned everyone at the beginning of the show, right? There's gonna be a lot of information coming out. This is a huge platform. But we encourage everyone, if you're listening on the replay, to go back and come on over and watch again and again and go to certain points. And just find your way around it and take in each element. But that's very gracious of you guys to offer that out to our listeners. 100 credits. What that allow you to do, it allow you to go over there. You get your free credits. You get your 100 credits from just saying you're part of the Relics Radio Metal Detecting Club, and you can play with some of the more expensive credits or the features that do. Like some of the higher rendering LiDAR, for example, the 3D rendering LiDAR portion, that would allow you to play with some of that to see if it's something you truly want in the future. And if it is, well, then you've at least tested it and you want it, or you can check it off your list. You're like, yeah, I really don't need that. I think the regular free version would be great. And it's just a great opportunity to play with it at a little deeper level and make your mind up as to what you want to do. And since you don't have to enter in your credit card information or anything, it's not like it's an auto renew.
Yep.
But if they do want to then at that point go for a paid version, what do you sell them at? Do you sell them at like 300 unit increments, or what do you do?
Yes. So no, we don't sell them at 300 increments. So what happens is if you are actually part of a detecting club, we charge $15.99 a month. Right? If you're not part of a detecting club, it's $19.99 a month, right? Cancel anytime. You are able, so for example, if you're not an elite user, you can buy credits in packs of 25 at a time. I think credits start at $2.99 or something like that.
Wow.
Quite frankly, for anyone that's on the line, when you get my email, if you do sign up for a free account and you want more credits, just email me. I'll deposit more credits in your account for you to play around with. I'm grateful for everyone's time. We obviously would love everyone to sign up as an elite member. We understand, though, that this is a process. And I saw a comment a little bit earlier saying that this is kind of information overload. I went over the whole platform in an hour. When you slowly and methodically go through each tool, it's a lot less drinking through a fire hose.
Yeah, that's true. I've gone through it a couple times and a couple times and a couple times, and you pick up a little bit more here and there, and you just get more comfortable with it. Definitely a fire hose in the last hour and a half. And I've been writing in the chat, guys, go back and the best thing that we have, because you guys are on here, and this is, on the internet now. You can go back and watch this over and watch a certain segment over because you're not understanding what this one does exactly. Like the LiDAR. I know that I'm going to run that LiDAR program till I'm blue in the face. And I'm going to go back and watch all these different things that you did with adjusting those levels and all that kind of stuff, because it was overload right now. But go back and watch this over and over as many times as you need to. It's always going to be out there to help.
Tony, don't break my LiDAR.
We're going to overload it. We're going to crash it.
We have redundant servers all over the place for higher volume.
I'm going to try. I'll just say that.
Right.
Because
I challenge.
He's going to be on some live stream. He's going to be on some live stream. Is that friggin' Tony broke our LiDAR? that feature's down right now. You can thank Tony.
Down. No, that feature by itself to me is I had written in the chat earlier, it is the future of metal detecting. I truly believe that. And with what you've put together with that, lots of people said, like Jason just said, where have you been all my life? To me, in LiDAR, where have you been to make it that easy to use? And so I will use the heck out of LiDAR.
Yeah.
Well, it's an honor to see that a lot of the comments come through. It's an honor for you guys, for me, an honor for me to be on here, to have a business partner like Merril, who's a legend, to have, guys like Mark and there's just so many people that I recognize here that I look up to. This is for everyone. And this is built to advocate for the industry. There are things on this platform that we didn't have a chance to see. We'll be launching an entire coaching section. We have an entire recovery platform that we're reconfiguring right now. We have a store with cleaning solutions. We search high and low for cleaning solutions coming from Spain that are custom. We're the exclusive distributors here in the U.S. So it's comprehensive. Anyone can reach out to me anytime you like. I'm simply at rmarcus, that's MARCUS, at subterrix.com. I'm available. I believe small businesses need to be available to their customers. So anyone that wants to reach out, by all means, email. I end up mostly texting with our customers because it's just easier to communicate that way. So thank you guys so much for having us on. It's been a blast.
Ryan, let's celebrate you, man. This is exceptional stuff. Like
Agreed.
what you built truly has disrupted the normal ways. What was the normal ways? You've taken it to the next level. And great dude also. Very impressive.
Relic Digger, the answer is no. You don't need any type of invite code, just FYI, guys. Leave the invite code blank when you're registering. Just select that you're part of a detecting club and obviously select Relics Radio, and that will be enough for the 100 credits to be deposited into your account. I
got you ready for some real quick fire questions, and we'll just go through them real quick.
Sure.
Tidy this up. Metal Breed Detector says, is there any certain amount of days the Relic Radio Club special is available before it expires?
No, we'll keep that open-ended, although it'd be great for most people to sign up at their earliest convenience. If I see anyone registered, you might be going on vacation for 2 weeks or something like that, and you don't want. So the answer is no. We'll keep that open if we do that.
Larry's always late to the game. He says, "So what if I signed up last night?"
I'll ask. You probably got an email from me already, so just shoot me a note. I can update your account and deposit the additional 80 credits for you. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Larry, again, LiDAR from USGS, or it seems to me it's a lot more crisper and more detailed. You pull from multiple sources, don't you?
We pull from multiple sources, and the logic behind it and the way the framework is built is done by my nephew who worked for the Army Corps of Engineering. So it's literally 100 times more powerful. The base is USGS, but the logic and the build for it is way more advanced than that. Someone put, will this work in Canada? I think so. Our goal is to expand outside of purely just the United States. We're going to be targeting Europe eventually, but I want to get this platform as close to perfect as possible before we expand. By all means, try Canada. If it works, great. I think the LiDAR will. I'm not necessarily sure if Expedition Planner will work outside of different countries. There are different APIs and different renderings that we pull from. By all means, just try it as you see fit.
And the best question of the night? Well, Subterrix, tell me where Grandma's brooch is at.
Grandma's brooch.
That's right.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Is this it right? Is this it right here? Oh, you can't see it.
Oh,
never mind. Failed attempt.
Ryan
No, it
has
won't tell you.
Grandma's brooch.
I've got a couple of them.
Love it.
Yeah, guys, that was amazing, man. You got so much information out there in the short amount of time. Very impressed with you, Ryan, being able to do that. And Merril, sorry, I know he was just going off, and
I don't know.
None of us really wanted to interrupt him. I know, but
he was in a flow. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Hey,
No.
you don't leave the table when you're on a heater, man. Okay.
Right.
You go.
that's it.
I have a lot to learn, and Merril's going to be incredibly valuable. It already is, but will be incredibly valuable. And the connectivity that he has with detectorists across the country is amazing. And I find our relationship incredibly valuable.
Yeah,
it's been fun doing this. A lot of fun.
And the reason this is around now is because technology has just been growing and growing and growing. And find somebody like Ryan that has the motivation to pull it all together and turn it into a platform. But technology is only going to get more and more involved. And, technology is not for everyone. There's people that are like, all this technology stuff. But the fact that you made that format to where you could go from pro version to go version is really great. Because if you guys think about it in the audience, if you think about it, you might want to forward this to somebody that you think would really love digging it, but they don't want to be overwhelmed. They might be overwhelmed. So just remind them about that that go toggle switch up there, and it'll really simplify it down. That was a great idea for a feature.
That was actually, so the concept actually was, and I told you guys this the other day, was actually around my dad. My dad's 74 years old. He's a retired doctor, doesn't even know how to turn on a computer, and he loves to metal detect. So I figured, you know what? Why not build simplicity into something incredibly complex? The piping is the exact same as what everyone just saw. It's just the user experience is just really plain vanilla and intended to be that way.
Yeah.
Great feature.
Tony, what do we do now?
Well, I'm going to stay up all night and checking out LiDAR. I can tell you that.
Right. Don't break it.
That LiDAR is spectacular.
Yeah.
I agree. And I can't wait to see, the tutorials coming out from Merril, incredible teacher, and talking us through a lot of these things. So, yeah. And then, mostly, and it was said in the chat earlier, you guys are so in tune with evolving and it's not just what's in your brain, but like you said, hey, if somebody else is looking for this or this idea comes from over here, you're going to incorporate it and evolve this tool into something that we all can use. It's incredible.
We have an entire second. Go ahead, Merril.
I just got to brag on your behalf, like how fast and efficiently you work. Like you get an idea and then boom, it's done before I could finish his sentence. It's so impressive. It really is.
Thank you. The intent here is to build the moat around bringing artificial intelligence and any intelligence to the detecting community. One thing that you said, Tony, was great is we within the more section of the header, there's a suggest a feature request. Guys, please, anything that you want to see built, that's our motivation behind it. Anything that you think stinks, by all means, email me. There's no pride in authorship here. There are things that I think may be great, or things that we don't know might have end up catching a bug. It happens in technology. Let us know about it. We'll fix it. And ultimately, the goal here is to make it better. If there are any real geeks here that want to understand the technology, we do have an entire section that's called Under the Hood, where they can look and see the piping of all of this if you want to geek out. But, this is built for the greater good of metal detecting and to allow this industry to grow and get to G2, right? This industry has a gray hair problem. It's the same as my industry. I'm in financial services. I run a publicly traded financial services company. The intent here is to bring detecting to the next generation and to make it enjoyable for those that are not retired, right? And I think this will at least participate in helping that.
So we did have a couple of people comment just now that they went over to the registered and they're only getting the 20 credits when they do the Relics Radio metal detecting club. So
I have to verify. It'll be done tonight though. Anyone that signs up and sees 20 in their account, by the time they put their head on the pillow, they'll have 100.
Yeah. And if anybody has any problem with that, you can reach out to Tony or I, and we can definitely get hold of Ryan. It's not meant to be any kind of bait and switch or anything like that. It's a great offer from them. And so if for some reason you have some kind of trouble with it, reach out to Tony and I, and we'll just help get it taken care of with Ryan. That's awesome. He had to make this special for us. So this wasn't something that he had already in there. He had to create this for us, for our listeners, for you guys tonight. So, if there's any kind of hiccup with it, just make sure you let us know. Keep us in the loop.
Yeah, please do. But you have my commitment that anyone that does sign up in less than a few hours, you'll see the credits go from 20 to 100.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks,
Awesome.
guys. Last words from you. We'll put you in the green room, and then we'll say our goodbyes off the air. How's that?
Sounds good.
Merril, what do you want to say?
I'm really proud to be on board. I'm really proud to be teamed with Ryan, and it's pretty spectacular what is already built. It's also designed especially for anybody who's in the audience right now, getting 100 credits, even with the breadth of stuff that's there. That's enough to kick it around, see if you like it, and every month you get 20 credits at the very least, and it's a pretty spectacular program.
Excellent.
I said everything I needed to say. I'll just add that I'm proud to have Merril on the team, and Merril's going to be the face and the brand, and I'm really excited to have him continue to contribute to the detecting community and to give back, and that's what we're looking to do. So thank you everyone for joining. I'm grateful for the time, and reach out if you have any issues or have any questions.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll see you guys.
Thanks everybody.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
You guys rock.
Shoot, we didn't have him sing, dude.
Oh, next time.
Bring him back
People
on.
were saying we got to get him back on. Holy cow. So we've been through that tutorial, that presentation twice. And there's a lot of information. I know people are still commenting, gosh, the overload. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much there. But again, check out subterrix.com. There are tutorials and walkthroughs on the website. Rewatch this again. I think I'll probably go and maybe take some clips out of here, put them up individually as well, to kind of help out, because when you and I both saw this idea in this presentation not too long ago, like you had said earlier, the decision was, how quickly can we get them on the show, because this is something that is change. It's changing the community for sure.
Yeah, our community is getting larger and larger and larger. There's a lot more new people coming into it all the time. It's not going to be for everybody, right? There's people like you and I are setting our tools, man. We've got our research tools and we've got them nailed. And you know what I mean? And this is just another tool that has already shown us stuff that we have not found already, or have not thought about, or has led us down other holes. Yep. So will this originally get rid of all of our other tools? I think it has the possibility of maybe doing that. Yeah. It's got a lot of information in there. But challenge it. That's what I invite everyone to do. Go challenge it.
Push it. Yep.
Push it. Yeah. Break that LiDAR, break the explore tool and the expedition tool, and just see what you can get from it. And like you said, he's got that suggestion boxes in there for any future features. They're doing a great job with it. They put out a good product right away. And they are a business, right? It's a business. They are going to have certain features that they're going to want to charge higher credits for. And that's just the way it is. And if you're the type of person that you think that's really, it's not a great deal of money, but it's, if you think those features are worth it, then give the paid version a look. And if not, see how far you get with the free version. It's not like a lot of things where you're like, you get one, like Opus clips, right? You and I both have tried that Opus clip things. Like you get one video without the watermark a year, and then everything else has to have a watermark to advertise us. Right. And if you don't want the watermark, then it's $1 bazillion.
Right. Right. You're going to get a really good feel for 100 credits this first month.
Yeah, you are.
About how much you're actually going to use. Is the 20 going to be good? Are you going to be over? Did you mess around enough that you can revert back to 20? Or is that 100 or 200 or whatever that you're going to need? I mean, if you're a deep diving researcher, it's another tool, and I think it's a fantastic tool for people that it's there, man. There's so much in there. Holy cow. My mind's spinning. I just remember the permission letter. I had forgotten about that already. That's in there. That permission tool. That's incredible. Permission letter. That's incredible.
And so maybe, I think it was Larry, maybe that said a comment. I'm sorry. Maybe it was FLX. You don't have to use that letter. A lot of people are so against that, right? Don't use that letter. You find it impersonal, but check it out. The letter is written really well. And how many times have we done these shows where we're like, well, Ken, what are the words you use when you go up and knock on doors? And I go, well, I kind of just say this. Man, there's some great suggestions in that letter as to what you say in person when you're in front of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. Use it to door knock. You don't have to send the letter out, but it gives you a script that you can kind of practice and a direction to go as a tool. If you throw your hands up and you just don't know what to do, it gets you moving. I love it.
It's good stuff, man.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Yep.
Great show, man. Great show.
Incredible show. Yep. Please go back and watch it again. If you guys missed anything or you've got questions, go back and watch it again and again, because it's very valuable for sure.
Yeah. And share it out to anybody you think might be missed it, that maybe is interested in it, that may want to kind of check it all out. They can go through here and learn every aspect about that he shared. I mean, I think we pretty well covered the program. I don't think anything we really left out except for some of the newer features, but cool, man. Well, let's get out of here. Let's go say bye to those guys off the air and put a nail in it. And it's
just want to mention real quick on the way out, go head over to republicdisplays.com. Use your code Relics Radio 10 to receive 10% off all of the displays that I've got over there. republicdisplays.com. Relics Radio 10 at checkout for 10% off. You can find all of my other stuff over at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And a reminder, I'll be live on Behind the Fines on Tuesday over on TikTok. So come join me over there and say hi.
Excellent. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And I just will really quick mention that if you guys are some of the thousands that are out there creating yodeling videos, make sure you send them to Bree at Metal Detectorists. She really appreciates reviewing them and looking at them all. Or you can just tag her Metal Detectorists, and I'm sure she'll get back to you. But no, thanks for everyone for joining up tonight with using the Relics Radio drop down as your metal detecting club, and you're getting those 100 free credits. Great offer from those guys for you to be able to try that out. And thanks for listening to us for so long. Tony and I didn't really need to. We should have just grabbed whiskeys and started, but I was paying so much attention to it. Amazing night. But everyone, have yourself a great week. Go out, use the tool, go find stuff. And here's the deal, please. If you use the tool and you go find some stuff and it really blew your socks off, let me know about it. Send me an email at dk@adventuresindirt.com. Love to hear from you. Go get the good stuff. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.